Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, a Marion County man convicted of animal abuse. The other punishment he now faces for breaking a county law.
Plus, a local county receives millions from the state to provide better internet access to underserved communities. We'll tell you which communities will benefit from those broadband upgrades, Daniella.
We have this low pressure system moving from Texas toward us, bringing some rains. I'll be timing that out for you in weather.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
A man must now register as an animal abuser in Marion County. This comes after he was convicted of abusing more than a dozen animals. I'm Caitlyn Schiffer.
And I'm Loren Miranda. WUFT's Megan Hartnett is live in the newsroom. Megan, the county had to rehabilitate 5 malnourished horses and 8 goats.
That's right. 62-year-old Terrence Crowder was convicted of 2 counts of animal cruelty. This is just one of the 5 horses he's been convicted of abusing. The investigation started back in August of last year when investigators say Crowder had not complied with the required care and the animals were suffering from neglect and abuse. The animals were removed from his care. But before the animals were taken, Crowder had previously been ordered to provide care to the animals that were found to be underweight and injured. After the warning, the county's veterinary team went to the court seeking custody of the livestock. The judge ruled they could seize the animals. Earlier this month, Crowder was convicted of animal cruelty and taken to the Marion County Jail. County officials say all the confiscated animals were rehabilitated and placed in better homes. Live in the newsroom, Megan Hartnett, WUFT News.
Marion County received several $1 million to help with broadband services in the more rural parts of the county. It's part of the governor's $60 million initiative to bring reliable internet services to underserved residents.
WUFT's Rafael de los Santos is live in the studio with how the money will be used and where it's going.
Thank you, Loren. Of the $60 million Governor DeSantis allotted, about $6.5 million to Marion County through the Broadband Opportunity Program. 6 months after the governor announced the program, I traveled to McIntosh, Florida, where residents of the 463-person town are still awaiting help.
McIntosh's Sportsman Cove is an RV park that provides visitor campsites for mobile homes in an area with one of the slowest internet speeds in the state.
McIntosh has the same problem. The maximum speed that we have in McIntosh up the road on 441 is 50 Mbit, but even this is not enough for a modern society, so we need improvement.
According to the park's manager, Holger Giza, the town's slow internet speeds hurt the business.
Of course, they would like to have the ability to be online, like everywhere else in the world, but unfortunately down here in McIntosh we have only 25 Mbit, so you can imagine if 49 campers are trying to go online at the same time, it won't work.
As complaints rush in and internet speeds slow down, management at Sportsman Cove have to consistently take measures into their own hands.
Running an RV park without high-speed internet is a tall order, according to Giza. Just behind me, a tall attempt at a solution. A nearly 35-foot internet extender installed 3 years ago, providing a meager 35 megabits per second to the park's 49 available campsites.
Despite the extender, in his 7-year tenure, Holger says he has not seen any improvement at the camp, prompting some tenants to install their own broadband alternatives.
The internet that was provided by the park was terrible.
Oliver moved to McIntosh from Lake Wales. 3 months into his stay at the Cove, he has already installed his own internet access.
Oh, that'd be great. I know down in Lake Wales, T-Mobile was putting in a fiber optic right in front of the RV park I was in, and I'm sure that's going to improve it. And if they do that here, it'll be a major improvement.
In Lake Wales, Oliver had the modern broadband convenience. He's ready for Marion County to do the same. A change that, according to Marion County Legislative Manager Matthew Credle, is coming.
The good news is there's light at the end of the tunnel. We do know your area has been awarded funds to expand broadband infrastructure, which will bring internet services to you. So the good news is there's light at the end of the tunnel. The bad news is we don't quite know how long the tunnel is.
And the broadband tunnel is what Oliver and others who crave the World Wide Web at the Cove are ready to get through.
According to Commissioner Credle, it will be up to providers like Comcast and Spectrum to put the state's funds into effect. McIntosh, along with the rest of Marion County, awaits valuable access to telehealth, economic, education, and workforce development opportunities that improved internet access will bring. Reporting live from the studio, Rafael de los Santos, WUFT News.
Marion County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help to identify a suspect. The man you can see on screen was accused of exposing himself at a Marion County convenience store. The Sheriff's Office is asking people to call 352-732-9111 if they have any information. I don't know about you, Caitlyn, but I'm definitely feeling a little bit of a chill in the air today.
Me too, Loren, and the mist isn't making it any warmer outside, but WUFT's Daniella Rudolph joins us now with the weather forecast.
Thank you, my lovely ladies, and you are right. It is this heavy cloud coverage that we're seeing right now on the radar that has really been helping to cool those temperatures down. We do have this big band of storms making its way toward us. I'll have more for you in full weather, but if we're taking a look at our live campus cam right now, there we can actually see how heavy that cloud coverage is, keeping those temperatures low at 65 right now, and the sun hasn't even set. Going to be happening in the next few minutes. Let's take a look at what it's doing to the other temperatures across North Central Florida. 65 here in Gainesville, a little bit warmer, 68 in Cross City and 63 in Live Oak. Now we're actually much cooler than normal. Our normal record temperature for around this time of the year and for today is 75 degrees, but today we got down to a 66. If you're staying with me here in Gainesville, those temperatures are staying around that 64-degree mark for the remainder of your evening.
The University of Florida canceled study abroad trips to Israel following the conflict in the Middle East. Birthright Israel, the free 10-day guided trip for young Jewish adults over the age of 18, is on pause for the next 2 months. UF Hillel is still expected to send students to Israel in the spring for Birthright 2024, as well as the Onward internship program.
One of the most commonly prescribed opioids in the country faces a shortage. Hydrocodone, also known as Vicodin, is a cough suppressant and pain medication prescribed to people around the country daily. Since November 3rd, pharmaceuticals face a shortage. Pharmaceuticals companies Amneal and Camber did not provide a reason for the shortage. The company Awe reports it is awaiting for the approval from the Drug Enforcement Administration for its active ingredient. None of the companies have a release date for the medication. Law enforcement is warning against a new scam threat in Columbia County. Scammers are pretending to be bail bondsmen. Then they ask for money. Officials say the scammers call families of inmates and tell them that the inmate is ready to get bonded out of jail. The scammers collect money from family members through Cash App or Venmo. The Sheriff's Department asks that everyone be mindful of these scammers and only meet with bail bondsmen in person.
And Williston celebrated veterans all over Florida this weekend with vintage cars and Vegas entertainment. WUFT's Jared Teitel is live in the studio to show us all the surprises he captured.
Saturday, but so were the drums at Premier NCF's second annual Give Thanks Music Festival. I had the opportunity to speak to many who were present for the Veterans Day event, some in service themselves. Cars. I just did. Concerts. And congratulations. Veterans Day, children to seniors came to Homestead Park to celebrate the service people of the nation. The second annual Give Thanks Music Festival, a salute to veterans, began with an emotional ceremony. One by one, former Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Navy officers were greeted with cries and cheers.
I thought it was like a Levy County event, but to me, this is a Florida event. You got people coming all the way from south of Orlando, people coming up down from Jacksonville. It's great.
Dressing the Missing Man table was Rolling Thunder, a nonprofit with an annual freedom ride. Couples jived to Bill Kastner, the self-proclaimed king of dance and swing, as he performed Elvis. But during the Americana Classic Car and Truck Show, movie-inspired motors and vintage vehicles drew spectators.
I like people to share my passion and everything and see how cool ride it is, and I enjoy it. I've been doing this all my life, going to car shows and stuff.
Well, to the veterans themselves, it's all about us appreciating the sacrifices, not only that they have made, but their families as well.
Pleased with the turnout, Premier Events, NCF intends for many more music festivals to come. Organizers, 300 to 400 veterans were expected to have made an appearance. Reporting live in the studio, Jared Teitel, WUFT News.
Still to come, a potential government shutdown in the next few days.
That's right, and a new emergency operations center is in the works after the disastrous effects of Hurricane Idalia. What the emergency chief of staff is saying about a new emergency budget when we come back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Congress has until Friday to pass a spending plan to avert a government shutdown. Reporter John Sullivan breaks down the proposed plans and tells us what it will take to avoid this.
Time is running out for Congress to pass a funding bill and avoid a government shutdown.
Nobody wants a government shutdown.
Lawmakers have until midnight Friday before many government operations will be forced to halt. A plan must first pass the House and then the Senate. But newly elected House Speaker Mike Johnson hasn't even set a date for a possible vote on a spending deal in the House.
I'm not exactly sure how he's going to play this, but he's not off to a great start.
On Saturday, Speaker Johnson announced a plan on a GOP conference call. It's split into two parts. The first bill would extend funding until January 19th and would include money for military, Veterans Affairs, transportation, housing, and the Energy Department. The second part of the bill would extend funding until February 2nd and include money for the rest of the government. But it lacks deep spending cuts many right-wing House members pushed for.
We got $1.7 trillion deficit this year, and where, under any circumstances, can they come to bring themselves to have an offset?
Neither bill, though, includes additional aid for Israel or Ukraine, something many lawmakers want to see.
I want to see that get done as expeditiously as possible. I also support aid to Ukraine.
If the government shuts down, millions of federal employees won't get paid.
The impact across the country could be significant. Not all services will be continued to be provided, so all of those could have a bad ripple effect.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
The last time there was a government shutdown was December 22nd of 2018, lasting 35 days.
The Division for Emergency Management is asking for an additional $42.7 million for a new State of Emergency Operations Center. They told the House Appropriations Subcommittee that they needed money for technology infrastructure. The building is currently 27 years old and can withstand winds of around 120 miles an hour. When it's finished, it will be double the size and be able to withstand winds of up to 200 miles an hour. When Hurricane Idalia approached the Big Bend area, some staff members moved out of the region.
Moving into a new EOC in 2025 is crucial to the state's ability to respond to emergencies. Currently, we have to evacuate the state EOC anytime a Category 3 or higher hurricane is heading for Tallahassee.
Idalia ultimately made landfall in Taylor County. If the new EOC budget is approved, they will never have to evacuate again. Funding requests will be considered during the 2024 legislative session, which begins January 9th.
Marion County Utilities is issuing a boil water notice for the Marion Oaks community after constructing a water main tie-in earlier today. The boil water notice applies to any water used for drinking, cooking, and brushing teeth, and it is in effect until the MCU tests the water supply. MCU advises you bring water to a rapid boil for about 1 minute. Consuming bottled water is suggested as an alternative. Please be aware this notice is only for homes and businesses at the following addresses. Marion County Utilities says it will let its customers know when the notice is lifted.
I'm going to be tracking this low pressure system making its way all the way from Texas to us here in North Central Florida, bringing some storms after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
If you stepped outside at any point today, you would have realized how overcast and cold it was. We're not the only ones here in North Central Florida. Look at these highest temperatures across the state of Florida for today. Even at the warmest parts down by near Key West, it's around 81 degrees, so it is quite a cool day for the remainder of the state. Right here in Gainesville, our normal temperature for this time of year for today is 75 degrees, and we dropped all the way down to 66 degrees. That's almost a 10-degree drop. Now, tonight I'm going to be watching some clouds with a chance for rain because of this low pressure system that's going to be making making its way toward us a little bit later this evening in Jacksonville, Daytona, and Orlando. You're also going to be having some of those coastal showers making their way toward you, but look at that big band of storms approaching as early as 10 p.m. tonight toward Pensacola and Tallahassee, so you folks definitely have to be weather aware this evening. The storms are not looking too heavy, but just because of the sheer amount of storms that we have, it might lead to a few areas of localized flooding, so definitely keep up to date with me and your county's emergency management. But if you're staying with me here in Gainesville, those temperatures are only going to be dropping down to around 65 tonight, so it is a relatively cool evening, not too cold. You do definitely want to take an umbrella if you are headed out this evening, because we could be seeing some of those showers making their way toward us from around the Tallahassee area. It is going to be also a little bit of a breezy evening. For your Tuesday morning though, those temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler as well. 63 here in Gainesville, a little bit cooler here in Perry and Live Oak because of those storms that are going to be making their way as early as tonight and tomorrow. Now over the next few days, we are going to be watching the Gulf, but not for hurricane reasons like we saw with Hurricane Talia, because of this big low pressure system that I just tracked for you a few moments ago. It's going to be making its way toward us all the way from Texas. So it's been traveling relatively far, and it's going to keep on going, making its way all the way down to South Florida, relatively engulfing the entire state on Thursday afternoon. So it's going to be a relatively wet week if you're going to carry an umbrella with you any week. Definitely going to want to be this week. Now, a few takeaways from this weather is going to be this Texas system that's moving eastward, those cloudy skies with some breezy winds, on and off showers for right now until Thursday, so you definitely want to keep that umbrella with you. And then our 7-day outlook, we can see those temperatures are going to be warming right back up in true Florida fashion, peaking at 81 on Friday, dipping down a little bit into the mid-70s for your next work week, but there you can see those rain chances are steadily increasing for the remainder of the week.
Gators women's basketball team is back in action tonight. Stay tuned for a preview for the Gators matchup with the Florida A&M Rattlers.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Gators women's basketball team is off to a 2-0 start on the year, and Kelly Ray Finley's squad is back in action tonight as they match up with the Florida A&M. WFT's Talia Baia is live in front of the O'Connor Center to preview the game.
It's an exciting matchup tonight as these two teams collide for the 16th time. Florida currently holds the series with a solid 10-5 record, and they've come out on top the last 4 meetings. The last time the Gators fell to the Rattlers was back in 2009. Now, let's talk about some standout players. Aaliyah Mathuro is one to watch after her impressive 25-point performance Thursday, leading the Gators to victory against Bethune-Cookman. She now has a total of 899 career points. Rachel Kyle is living up to her nickname, Big Shay. She recorded back-to-back double-doubles in the first week of non-conference play. Kyle tallied 15 points and 12 rebounds in both the North Florida and Bethune-Cookman games. We can't overlook Faith Dutt either. She currently is one of the top 20 career rebounders in the SEC, ranking 18th with a total of 289 rebounds. Additionally, Dutt holds an impressive 6th place in the SEC career blocks with 72. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. in the O-Dome. With WFT News, I'm Talia Baia.
Gators football team fell for the 3rd straight week, losing to the LSU Tigers 52-35 in Baton Rouge. Despite a strong effort from the Florida offense, the defense had no answer for LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. Daniels accounted for 606 yards of offense, and 372 of those yards came through the air, and 234 came on the ground. He had 5 total touchdowns, and altogether, LSU tallied 701 yards of total offense, the most the Gators have ever given up in a game in program history. Gators running back Trevor Etienne finished with 3 touchdowns and 99 yards on the ground, while quarterback Graham Mertz had 311 passing yards and 1 touchdown. With Florida still looking for a bowl-clinching win, they'll have 2 more chances this season. Their next matchup comes against the Missouri Tigers on the road on Saturday with kickoff set for 7:30. 2 SEC coaches have been fired in the last 2 days. With 2 games remaining in the regular season, Texas A&M and Mississippi State will finish off their seasons with interim head coaches. Sunday, Texas A&M head coach Jimbo Fisher was fired after recording a 45-25 record with the Aggies in 6 seasons. Fisher will be owed a record $77.6 million, the highest in college football history. Mississippi State head coach Zach Arnett was also fired, getting let go from the Bulldogs program today. In his first season in Starkville, Arnett recorded a 4-6 record with a poor 1-6 record in the SEC. Florida head coach Billy Napier said today it's not surprising to see this happen in a very competitive SEC.
I think for me, you go into it with a strategy and a plan. You adapt, you evolve, you adjust. And we're in the middle of our process, right? So, it's been happening for a long time that way.
The high school football playoffs began Thursday and multiple teams took care of business in their opening round matchups. Buchholz Bobcats opened their postseason with a domination over Mosley 59-0. Bobcats dominated from the start, running away with the game in the first half. When the halftime horn sounded, the Bobcats had a comfortable 42-0 lead. In the half, running back Quentin Cutler had 127 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, while quarterback Trace Johnson had 4 touchdown passes. Up next, Buchholz will face Ponte Vedra in the Class 4S regional semifinals on Friday. Bobcats weren't the only area team to kick off postseason play. In the 2S region, Eastside, Bradford, and Daniella all came out victorious. And in the 1S region, Newberry defeated Chiefland 49-16, and Union County crushed Hillier 58-8. In the 1 rural region, there were multiple teams that had an opening round bye. Hawthorne, Fort White, and Williston all had the week off, but they'll open their postseason on Friday. Hawthorne will take on Newberry, Fort White is set to play Union County, and Williston hosts Pahokee. And with Eastside's win, they're now set for a date with Bradford. All kickoff times are set for 7:30. After losing 3 straight coming into the weekend, the Gators volleyball team got wins on Friday and Sunday. In their most recent matchup with the Alabama Crimson Tide, Gators went into Tuscaloosa and swept the Tide. Kennedy Martin led the team with 18 kills, while AC Fitzpatrick followed with 17 kills. Laurel will be back in action on Friday when they remain on the road against the Missouri Tigers. One final note, Week 10 of the NFL concludes tonight with the Denver Broncos facing the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football, and the Broncos will look to pull off the upset.
Well, guys, I've never been to a volleyball game before, and I know they're playing on Friday, so have you guys been?
Yeah, Daniella, it was maybe the most amazing experience I've had here.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the weather because I feel like we definitely need to have a watch party, and Bennett, you need to come with to explain to me the rules of volleyball. So for the rest of your week, Friday, luckily that weather is looking beautiful for our little volleyball watch party at 81 degrees, but it's going to be dipping back down. We are going to be having some rain until Thursday. Well, that's all from me from weather.
Thanks, Daniella. BBC World News is next, and the PBS News Hour is coming up at 7.
Remember, your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a great night.